Hello and welcome to 6 Outs. This is a gimmick that I used on James Corden, which was really fun. It's a gimmick that is very versatile and you get to make it whatever you want. It's 6 different outs, all in a folded up piece of paper. So what I'm going to do is show you quickly how it works right now. So you can see this is what it looks like. Piece of paper inside, and this is, oh, did you want the number 3? Nice. Did you say you wanted the number 4? Well, 4 would be this. Boom. There's number 4. So I'm just going to show you really quick what you're going to be getting. This is the gimmick, and inside are all 6 outs. So it kind of looks like a Rolodex whenever it's open. This is made out of very durable, long-lasting Tyvek. This one that I have here, I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on it, but the one you will be getting will be blank, so you can make it whatever you want. So this is just if you were to do a trick where you had somebody roll the dice and they rolled a 3, and you'd say, look, I knew that. I predicted you would roll a 3. Crazy. And it's got a black border on it. The reason why it's got a black border is it helps disguise how thick the edge is from far away. And I'm going to show you the handling, how you open it quickly, how it doesn't look like you're searching for the outs. But that is basically how the gimmick looks. So you can see that's what you've got there. So first things first, grab your gimmick, which should be blank, and your envelope, which is blank. And I'm going to show you how to fill it in. And then once you've filled your gimmick in, I will show you how to open it and use it. And then after we do that, I will give you some ideas on some routines and different presentation ideas. So grab your blank gimmick and some markers, and I'm going to show you how to fill it in. Okay, so here's what you get in the package. So when you open this up, you should have a piece of Tyvek and your gimmick. You have the envelope here with the gimmick inside. So your gimmick, like this one, will be blank. So you can open it up and you'll see that all 6 pages on the inside are blank with the black border all the way around. So now I'm going to show you how to fill it in. So first things first, before you actually put a marker or pen on the gimmick itself, that's why I've included this piece of Tyvek. You need to figure out what type of pen or marker would be good to use. So I just got a normal ballpoint pen here. You can see if you draw on it, it does not bleed through whatsoever, so this would be good. In order for it to be seen from far away though, you would have to make a pretty heavy line with a ballpoint pen, but as much as you scribble, it really won't go through. So ballpoint pen, you should be good on any color. This is just a Crayola black marker, and the best way to do a test is to just do a 1 line. So just like that. That looks really good from far away. This is a washable marker, so you can see it does not bleed through, but because it is Tyvek, you want to just take your thumb here, and I'm just going to rub and see how the Tyvek does not take this Crayola marker very well. It would smear. So this is, first you need to make sure it doesn't bleed through, and then second you need to make sure it doesn't smear. Now I'm going to let the rest of this dry for a few minutes while we keep testing to see if you can use it, and then make sure you let it dry because it passes the see-through test. The next one, which I like to use myself, is Sharpie. So if we just take Sharpie and draw 1 line just like that, you can see that we're good. Doesn't really bleed through too much. The other thing to keep in mind is that your gimmick is 2 layers of Tyvek thick. So, if you can see it just a little bit, and also that's the backlighting. So if I put it here so there's no backlighting, you can see a Sharpie works. Now the only reason why a Sharpie wouldn't work, I'll show you this, is if you go over that line many times. So I'm going to make this a really heavy, thick line, just like that. Now if you do that, it will start to bleed through. Now the reason why you don't want that is on your gimmick, whenever you go to open it, you will see slight remnants coming through of the next layer, whatever that is, and you don't want that. So if you use a Sharpie, you want to make sure that you're using single strokes to write your you know, your letters. Maybe you're doing block letters like that. You should be okay. Just make sure you don't go over the same area many times like that. So the best one I have found to use for this is a king size Sharpie. So why I like this type of marker is because of the flat edge. You can use the point, which works well for the gimmick, but you can, what I like to use is this edge here. So if I were to do a letter A like that, it looks really good from far away. Your audience will be able to see it, and it doesn't bleed through too much. This is not too much, so that whenever you use your gimmick, you won't be able to see through it. Now, the only thing that I will check now that it's been a few minutes is the watercolor here. So I'm just going to take my dry thumb and rub, and that actually works. So I'm learning on this video that a Crayola marker works. The only thing that makes it risky is you have to let it fully dry. So I'm not willing to take that risk. A Sharpie dries instantly, which is why I like it. So I would not recommend using these, but you can try different brands of markers if you want. That's again why this piece of Tyvek is included. So now that we've got our marker, I'm going to use the king size for this. We are going to figure out which sheet to do first. So we know it's our first out. And I'm also going to use a pencil on the Tyvek. So whatever you draw on the Tyvek, if you do it in pen, marker, ink, pencil really won't show up on this material. So you're going to write it, I like to write it in pencil first, or take another piece of paper and practice writing it, so that when it comes time for this, you don't mess it up. You've got the one go. So how we're going to find the first page is hold your gimmick like I am, so that the black line along the edge is pointing to the lower right. You should have it look like a book here, just like this. So this is your book. And then you're going to flip with your thumb. So that's your first out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different outs, and then you flip to the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for the first one, I'm going to put my thumb in there. I'm going to open it. Now this is also all dependent on how you want to open the gimmick. So if you want to open it the way I do, which I'll show you soon, you put all this in the lower right hand corner, flip to number 1, go in with your thumb. So go in with your thumb to the first slot, open it, down, over, and then you're going to turn it like this. So that's your audience is now looking at the first message. So this would be our first message. Now one way you can test this, which is kind of nice, is just tape a piece of paper to this or a post-it note inside to check your orientation. So I know that this is the correct orientation on the gimmick. So if you open it like this, this is page 1, and this is how you want the text to read. So I'm going to just write, let's see, so 6 outs, so I'll just write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on here. So the first one, the other thing, one last thing, is you have to keep in mind where your hands are going to go on this gimmick. So your hands are going to hold the gimmick in the upper right and upper left hand corner. So you want to make sure you don't have any of the design going here or here, because when you hold it up and you show your audience this, your hands will be covering up some of the info. So you can move your fingers out to the extreme edges, but just keep that in mind when you're drawing on this. So I'm just going to imagine my fingers right here and here, so I know I have all of this space to write my out. So for this one, I'm just going to write O here, N, E. There we go, just like that. So you probably can't even see that on the camera because it's so light. But it's mainly for spacing and to make sure, I mean, you're probably not going to spell the word one incorrectly. But this is just so you don't second guess yourself. And then because this is a Sharpie, I'm going to make quick, brisk strokes, and I'm not going to go over it too many times, so that way it doesn't bleed through. So here we go. I'm going to write the O, just like that. Here's the N, like that, and the E. Perfect. So this one says 1. Now, even though it's a Sharpie and it dries pretty quickly, I'm going to let it just air dry just for a second. And one way you can check to see if it's dry, you don't want to push and rub, because then if it's not dry, you see it. So just make sure your finger is dry, doesn't have any sweat on it, and just kind of roll your finger across the letters in any of the thick places, and that way you know it didn't bleed through. So now we have the first one, 1, done. So it should look upside down to you because your audience will see there. So there's 1. So to go to the next page, I'm just going to turn it like that. And as you can see, it didn't bleed through. The only way you will see any of the design bleed through is if you shine a bright light behind it. So if you shine a bright light behind it, you will see all the other layers, but that will not happen on stage. You should not have a backlight behind you. And even if you do have a backlight behind you, you just keep this held in front of your chest so that no light can bleed through behind the paper. So that's your first one. So there's 1. So I'll just do one more here so you can see. So I'm just going to do the T here. T, W. Keep in mind the creases can be difficult sometimes to work around. And O. So T, W, O, keeping in mind where my fingers are going to go. I'm going to grab my marker. So here we go. T, boom, W, like that, and O. Boom. So, as you can see here, I didn't connect it fully. What I might do is take this Sharpie and complete the connection just so that the image looks actually like that word. And that way also I don't have to go back over with the marker in a way that might make it bleed through. So this way, there we go. So we complete that. I think the O is fine, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So there we go. So now the O is complete, and the T, just because we're doing it there. So now all the letters are complete, so now that one says 2. So this way we have 2 of our outs written. You can do the same. I would do the same with 3, 4, and 5, and 6. So now what I'm going to do is show you one little marking system I use just to make sure you've opened to the right one. So I'll show you in a minute the handling, how to flip through this and open it to whichever one you want. But first, what I like to do is right here. So this is how you're going to hold your unit in the lower right hand corner with your thumb, and you're going to be looking down in there into the unit, and you're just going to see white. So to help make this a little easier, right here I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to write with my pencil really lightly. I'm going to write the word 1. So O, N, and E. It might not show up on camera, so I'll get a close-up of it here so you can see right there. That's all I've written. It's just really, really lightly is the word 1, because I write it there because whenever I open it, my fingers are going to cover that up. So I could almost write it in marker, but I just like it in pencil. And the reason why I wrote it right there is so that when I'm flipping through, I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that way I don't have to look down at the gimmick. I can flip to whatever out I want, but at the last minute I can look down and make sure I'm about to put my thumb into the correct out. So that's just one little hot tip there. So there's 1. So I'll flip to this next one. Right there is where I want it. So I will write 2, T, W, O, or whatever your out is. You can even write 1, 2 depending on whatever your out is, but that way you don't have to do any thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is how you make your gimmick. So make your gimmick however you want it made. And now I'll go over the details as to how to open the unit. Okay, now that you've got your gimmick all filled in, and hopefully you've done your little cheats so you know which out is which, I'm going to show you how to perform it. So you're going to have your gimmick in the envelope. You can put a question mark on here. You can write whatever you want. Also, these envelopes are size A6. So you can get a different size envelope, or you can cut out your own envelope. Whatever you want. The envelope is ungimmicked in any way. So grab your gimmick though, and I'm going to perform it. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to show you how I do it with my right hand. Even if you're left-handed, I would recommend doing it with your right hand. and this is just the basic handling I use. So I'm going to show you up close with the gimmick how to do it. So what I'm going to do is hold the gimmick just like this, so you can see, so that the folds are on the top and my left, and the bottom right corner, I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. So what I'm looking at whenever I do this is right there. I'm looking at the word. So that's the word 1. You can see there. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Is that what you can see all the outs I'm seeing? So here's what we'll do. Let's pretend that it's the 1 out. So you're going to tip the gimmick slightly to the left, and you're going to just flip once. 1. So if you get good enough with this, you won't even have to look down. You can just feel. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's the first one. Click to 1. Now I'm just going to do this one slowly so you can see what it looks like when I do it over my shoulder. I'm going to place my thumb down inside. I'm going to let the gimmick open towards me. I'm going to open it like a book from right to left. I'll be looking at the reveal upside down, and then I will show it to the audience, just like that. You're going to want to keep your left hand and your right hand kind of up on these edges. That will prevent the side from looking thick. So there we go, so you can see there. So let me close it up and do it again. So click to 1, boom, put my thumb inside, let the gimmick open towards me, open right to left. You'll be looking at the reveal upside down, and then turn it end for end at the audience. So if you want to do a vertical one, you would just show here. If you wanted to draw a playing card or something on here, you would just turn it. Or if you wrote a message this way, you would just have to figure out how to orientate it. But that's the best way I've found. You can even do it one-handed. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the 4th one. So now I have my thumb inside the 4th out. So I can just open it quickly. And one last check, which is really nice, is you're looking at the reveal upside down. So let's say you wanted to go to number 2 and you accidentally go to number 3. So you want the second out. So if you go like this and you see the word 3 upside down, just close it and hold it here, because only you realize that you made the wrong out. So do try it one more time. Maybe look in there this time to ensure you have 2. Here's your last check. You're looking at it, and then show the audience 2. So one thing that's really nice with this is on 1 and 6, you have a very clean reveal. So here I'll go to 1, put my thumb in, open down towards, right to left, and then turn it over. And now I'll show you what you have. Because this is one of the extreme edges, I have all of the other 5 outs on my left side, and this is just one edge. So what I like to do for 1 and 6, so let's say it's 1, I'd click to 1, open it up, show it, and then let go of the side that's just one layer. So I can show really cleanly this gimmick as long as I keep the thicker edge to my left. So there we go. That's the number 1. Close it. Same thing with the number 6. So click to 6, just like this. Open it up. Only this time I'm going to hold this edge, this extreme edge, and let that left side kind of flap towards the audience so they can see it. You can see it's really thin. It's only one layer thick, and you can close it all up. So that is how you open the gimmick. So you're going to practice looking at the audience. The more you kind of look down and look like you're flipping through, it will be more suspicious. So you want to practice. So let's say I want 3, 1, 2, 3, check, and then show. It looks like you're just opening up a folded piece of paper. And then I always like to fold it back up. And this fits in the back pocket of most dress pants, or in your suit jacket, or if you've got a purse that you're performing with, or if you've got pockets in your dress. These dimensions are really good for most size pockets. So you don't have to necessarily grab the envelope and fold it back up, but you can fold this up and just put it in your pocket. And again, because it's Tyvek, it'll be really durable and last a really, really long time. So that's how you use the gimmick. So finally, I'm just going to give you some ideas for different routines you could use this for. Okay, different routine ideas. So the basic idea is 6 outs. So what different routines could you do with 6 different options? You could do mentalism symbols. So triangle, square, squiggly line, star, circle. You could come up with 6 different mentalism symbols. And then you have all 6 of those symbols either drawn or written, like the word triangle, or both. You can have a triangle drawn and the word triangle, so you have all 6 different mentalism objects in this gimmick. Another thing is, a lot of mentalism routines, you need the one ahead principle. Whenever you use the one ahead principle, you need to know one of them to get ahead. Well, this could be the one. So let's say you do a routine where you have a name written down, have somebody roll the dice, and then whatever you need. Basically, this is your one ahead. This is your, not a force anymore, it's you have all 6 outs built into an envelope. So you could, this is again the easiest option. You have somebody have a dice, and they roll the dice, they rolled a 3. Well, it's funny that they rolled a 3 because that's exactly what I predicted. I thought you would roll a 3. And then move on to the next prediction. You can buy more than one of these. So if you have 12 outs, so if you have 2 of these, so 6 and 6, now you have all 12 months. Now you have all the zodiac signs, January through December. You have 12 outs is all 12 court cards. You can buy as many of these as you want. Because they're really thin, you could make an envelope that has different outs. And then the best use I've found for this is actually 3 chairs. So that's what I did on James Corden. So it's kind of a bummer that this is the very end of the video, because some people might have bought this just to figure out how Corden worked. But what's kind of crazy is if you have 3 different people sitting in 3 different chairs, they can sit wherever they want. If you know their names in advance, let's say you're doing a corporate gig and you want to buy one of these and fill it out permanently just for that corporation because you know the 3, like the CEO, the vice president, and somebody else, you know all 3 of their first names, you can make this up just for that performance and make it seem really unique and special that way. Or you can have the 3 people on stage each decide what letter they're going to be. Are they going to be A, letter B, or letter C? Then once they've decided that, they each need to sit in a chair. So 1, 2, 3, different chairs. So here's one I have made up. Let's say it was A, B, C. So it's crazy that you said that because I predicted A, B, C. Let's say it was B, C, A, B, A, C. This took me a while to memorize, but B, A, C should be that one. B, A, C. So here's what's crazy. It seems like if with 3 different letters or 3 different names and 3 seats, you have a crazy different amounts of combinations. But guess what? There's only 6. So it's ABC, ACB, BAC, BCA, CAB, and CBA. So those are your 6 outs. So if you know that, then basically you have, first question is, I want the 3 of you to decide which letter you want to be. First question. Okay, so you wanted A, B, C. Fine, cool. Now have a seat. Sit anywhere you want. But try to sit where you think I wouldn't have thought you would sit. Okay, so you sat B, C, A. Now here's what's crazy. You could have sat somewhere else. Or at the beginning, you could have chosen a different letter. You can make it seem like there's way more outs than there actually are when there's only 6. And guess what? You can write all 6 in your 6-out gimmick. So that's pretty fun to think about. Also, colors. You could just have 6 different colors mentioned on stage, 6 different markers. Have somebody pick out one marker within a different routine, and then you knew what color they were going to pick. You could have a dice with 6 sides on it. Have 6 things on those sides besides the number. So if you had a 6-sided die that had all different colors on it, then you have show them that they can roll it. It's not loaded. They can roll it as many times as they want as different colors. Now roll it to any color. What color did you roll? Red? That's what I predicted. Now, one thing I would not recommend doing is what I did on the little mini trailer here, is don't open this more than once. Except for magicians. Once you open it once, that should be what that piece of paper said. Close it up and put it away. The minute you open it again to something, now you've revealed to the audience that this could say more than one thing. So I would not recommend that. Don't be limited to numbers and words. You could also do playing cards. So let's say you had a deck of cards with 6 different cards. So 6 different cards repeating. 52 divided by 6. Can't do the math on that. So it'd be like 8 blocks of the same 6 cards. So you could show that in a fan. It would look like it's a shuffled random deck, but there are only 6 different cards just repeating throughout the deck in a cyclical stack. Then you have all 6 cards written here on your gimmick. So show the cards, all the cards are different, spread them out all over the table, pick up any card you want. What is it? The 5 of clubs? Crazy that you said the 5 of clubs, because I wrote 5 of clubs. Pretty awesome. So basically what I'm getting at is there is an unlimited amount of possibilities that you can do with this gimmick, which is kind of fun to think about. One other option you could do, I'm just trying to think out loud here, is let's say you have 6 different colors. Red, blue, green, yellow, whatever, the 6 different colors. Or 6 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You say, I have a list of things I want you to do. So let's say, oh, they rolled a 3. Okay, well, and then let's see on my list here, number 3 says we have to do a card trick. And then so if you think about it, you could force a step number. So you could have the same list on every out, but what happens is the thing that you want to do in the trick moves throughout the outs. So if you always want to do a card trick next, or if you always want to do something, let's just say a card trick, then the first out is you have 6 different steps, and number 1 says do a card trick. And then for, let's say they rolled a 2. So you say, okay, roll number 2, let's see, let's check the list. 1, 2, it says do a card trick. Number 1 says rope trick, 3 says do a sponge bunny trick. So you said number 2, which is that. So you could have all these different outs on these lists, and all with the same gimmick. So let your imagination run wild. Come up with as many things as you can for the 6-out gimmick. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your routines. You can send me messages through blakevoigt.com. The contact there, you can send me if you have any questions on how to use this or if you have any routine ideas. So thank you so much for purchasing the 6-out gimmick. Have fun with it. Make up as many routines as you can. And until next time, thanks.